The speed of sound is 750 miles per hour. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. So it's much, much faster. And that's why we can often see something happen before we hear it. I'm playing a note on the top of the glass by rubbing my finger around the top. And if I had enough glasses, I could probably play a little tune. Well, Professor Charles Taylor has brought along an instrument today which is made from glass. That's marvellous, Professor. How does it work?
Well, it starts off with these glass rods, which are being stroked with wet fingers, rather like your musical glass. But then the vibrations from these glass rods, which are really behaving like the bow of a violin, are then communicated to these rods here, these brass rods sticking out. And you can probably see that there's short ones at this end, longer ones at that, and just as with your tubular bells, the short ones produce a high-pitched note and the long ones produce a low-pitched note. Well, now, on its own, just these two bits would be a musical instrument, but it wouldn't be very loud. It would be like a violin without a body. And so what we have is this vibrator device here, amplifier device, which picks up the vibrations and changes them into bigger ones in the air. And we can either keep the note going quietly with just one finger, or we can produce a really trombone-like sort of note. So it's a very flexible instrument.
What makes one sound different to another sound?
Well, it's really that the low-pitched sounds are vibrating rather slowly, and the higher-pitched ones are much more rapid, and so the waves in the air are squashed up as you go to higher pitches.
Glad you mentioned waves, Professor, because I made an instrument, not nearly as nice as yours. It does make a sound, listen, it's not very good though. But something I noticed, when I put it in front of a television screen here and flick it, we can see the pattern of a wave. Now, is that a sound wave?
Well, it's the beginning of a sound wave, and when the vibrations of the rubber band are communicated to the air, get into the air, then it becomes a sound wave. I think we can perhaps explain the shape of a sound wave a little better with an experiment over here. We've got a piece of string tied to a loudspeaker, and if I turn on the loudspeaker so that it's making a low note, I think you can see that we've got fairly long waves. Now, if we turn up the pitch, take it up to a much higher pitch, you can probably see now that we have shorter waves. And as we go up in pitch, so we get shorter and shorter waves. And you can even do it more effectively still by looking at this cathode ray oscilloscope. There's the wave that we started with, and if I now turn it up, you'll see that the waves squash up, and then we'll turn it down again.
So the wave, the higher the pitch, the smaller the wave.
The closer the wave.
Well, I've got a whistle here, which I'll blow, but we can't hear it, but somebody can. And it's Edward, my dog. Now, we might be able to hear the air blowing through that whistle just then, but he hears it about half a mile away. Now, how can he hear a sound we can't?
Well, the whistle is very, very short, and it's producing very, very short sound waves, very, very fast indeed, so fast that our eardrums can't follow it, but the dogs and various other animals can. And we can show you on the oscilloscope again, if I turn on the thing that was producing the sound, this time we've got sound which is so high that we can't possibly hear it. Maybe Edward can, but we can see that it is a wave on the oscilloscope. That's what we call ultrasonics, because it's above the range of ordinary sound that we used to hear by.